Let's make it a good day.
Coming up, Meghan McCain is wasting no time bashing her former View co-hosts in a new book. Find out the real reason she left the show. Then, speaking of The View, she's been a TV staple for decades, and now she's starting the third season of the hit game show 25 Words or Less. One of my favorites, Meredith Vieira, talks to me about the new season and what it's like hosting a game show from a basement.
Mama took my comic book.
And he's one of the biggest success stories to come out of America's Got Talent. Vegas superstar Terry Fator will join me live to talk about his national tour. Here we go.
Let's make it a good day. We do it our own way. Sing it out every day. Let's make it a good day. Oh, no matter what they say. Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Corcoran. Good morning, Golden Valley. Good morning, Roseville. And good morning to you. Welcome to the Jason Show. I'm Jace. Please say hello to my sidekick sister from another mister and Discount Tires Employee of the Month, Kendall Mark, everyone.
We've got tires.
How you doing?
Good. Did you know, I didn't know this.
Okay.
I think they give you free tire rotations, like even if you don't buy your tires there.
Where?
They do at Discount Tires. So, PSA, the more you know. I have bought tires from Discount Tire Services, so I get my tires rotated and rebalanced there. They do it because you got your tires there. Well, I brought my husband's car in, and I was like ready to pay the bill because his are not from there, and they were like, no, it's free of charge.
Well, look at that. Now, I don't know, maybe they're doing it because you're Kendall. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know if like executive producer Jeff went to Discount Tires. No offense, Jeff, I'm just saying. I'm just, offense. But I don't know if that's a service for everybody. I don't want to mislead the good people of Earth.
Yes, so do your homework.
Yeah.
But Ted also thinks this is true.
Not that I don't trust you and Ted. I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, yeah, and do your own investigation.
Hi.
I have an update. I have an update of the scary iPhone story that I told you guys about yesterday. Again, I'm not a tinfoil hat wearing, conspiracy theory listening kind of guy.
Only on Tuesdays.
No, well, I only believe in Nessie and I believe in chupacabras. I don't believe in anything else as far as conspiracy theories. However, I now believe that my iPhone is probably listening to me all the time. Because, as I told you yesterday, I had a verbal exchange with my friend Quinn. And in that verbal exchange, I said, hey, do you want to go to lunch tomorrow? And he said yes. Then later in the day, as I was putting another appointment in my calendar, the iPhone suggested that I confirm lunch with Quinn at noon tomorrow. I never typed that in. I never texted anything about a lunch date at all to him. Well, I saw him yesterday for said lunch. And I told him the story and I said, did you create an event? Did you put it in your phone? He said no. He did not put it in his phone. Because I thought maybe if we're on the same network or if he linked me somehow to the event, that it somehow went to my calendar. No. And that was the only theory folks were tweeting me about, that maybe if Q had put it in, it somehow got onto my iPhone. No. So therefore, the iPhone is listening to us at all times. And I hate feeling like this because I have people in my family that, they don't do updates on their phones because they think Tim Cook is listening to them. You know what I mean? I won't call them out, but I'm just saying that my husband has to go behind their back and update their phones when they're not looking. But I didn't say that out loud. I'm just saying.
Called out.
No, I'm just saying. But I'm not that. I don't care. I feel like if you want to listen to my conversation, I don't care. I'm not doing anything special at home.
Right.
I'm literally watching Dallas and eating a salad from Lund's. I have a pretty boring life at home. So that's my feeling. I've never felt like this. It's weird. I have to admit it's weird. Am I scared? Nah, that's overly dramatic. But
you're just a little leery of the
I'm a little leery that this thing is listening to me at all times.
Well, and the ads thing, almost it is a little more explainable. Oh, okay, I wasn't talking about it, I didn't type it to anybody, but you were probably in proximity with somebody who's always researching this, and they think that maybe you'd like it because you're the same. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You can wrap your head around all those things.
Yeah, ads popping up I can understand.
Right, but that one is, I
Weird.
haven't heard that, and that's a goofy.
Yep. So I am just going to say nothing but nice things so my iPhone hears me properly. I love our boss, Marion Mim Davy Kessler Carrington Colby. Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Let's get started, everybody. It's time for the hot dish. Roll it, Leo. First up, Meghan Mccain is ready to spill. Didn't she leave like 4 weeks ago? All about the details of her messy exit from The View. In an upcoming audio memoir called Bad Republican, she says there was a toxic and hostile work environment. She said Whoopi didn't like her, and that made for a lot of tension at the table. After she came back from maternity leave, Joy Behar said she didn't miss McCain. She didn't miss Meghan. Meghan says she cried during the commercial break after that exchange. If you want to get it, Bad Republican is available on audio. A couple things to break this down. First, she said, I want to get her right. She said that she and Whoopi had her back for many years. The first couple of years she was on the show. Not many. Meghan wasn't there that long. I think 5 seasons. But then once like 2016 hit, and Mr. Trump came into office, then she said Whoopi started changing, as did the other panel members. Now, I'll pause and say, you know me, I've said it on the show before, I don't often agree with what Meghan says policy-wise, but I also believe a conservative voice on a show called The View is important. You know my stance on that. Anyway, doodly-doo. Having said all of that, this is what I don't like. And it's great that this story follows the day of the Katie Couric story and her autobiography, because say what you will about Katie, and Meghan doesn't like Katie, and Meghan has some things to say about Katie. You may not like Katie Couric, I get it and respect that, but from what I'm gathering, Katie's telling all about herself. Whether you agree with, she is laying out her dirty laundry. Meghan seems to not be owning her role in the hostile work environment. Her role in the fact that she didn't get along with Whoopi and Joy. It sometimes takes two to tango. That saying is sometimes right. There seems to be very little ownership, but to be fair, I'll say what I said about the Katie thing. We're only getting pieces of this book. I want to read it in its entirety, to be fair to her.
Yeah, the last thing you said was, I think, really always has struck me about so many political commentators on every side of every issue. They're always barraging everyone for all the negative things that they do and how you've affected me. And never do they go, well, maybe shouldn't have done that one thing.
Well, also, it's a little, this is what I didn't like too. In her goodbye, we showed you her goodbye from The View. She was a little fake. You know, she was like, oh my goodness. And I rewatched it this morning. I'm going to miss, these ladies are great. I'm going to miss everybody, da-da-da. And then 4 weeks later, if you don't like people, look, I've left things where I have been very polite, but I haven't been effusive in my praise of, oh my goodness, Joe, I'm really going to miss you, when secretly I hate Joe.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Next to the dish, Lucy and Ricky are back. Amazon just dropped the teaser for the upcoming movie, Being the Ricardos. Look at this.
I am the biggest asset in the portfolio of the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Quiet, please.
The biggest asset in the portfolio of Philip Morris Tobacco Westinghouse.
Roll sound.
Let's do our show.
I get paid a fortune to do exactly what I love doing.
They got their money's worth.
Pictures up.
I work side by side with my husband, who is genuinely impressed by me. And all I have to do to keep it is kill for 36 weeks in a row.
All right, let's go.
And then do it again the next year. You know, I did this show so Desi and I could be together.
Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the show.
And action.
I had no idea it was going to be a hit.
Such a good trailer. Such a good trailer. It's like our photographer Eric edited that one. Nicole Kidman is Lucille Ball. Javier Bardem is Desi Arnaz. It's written and directed by Aaron Sorkin, you know, from The West Wing, and follows. It's not about I Love Lucy. It's about the couple behind the scenes. Being the Ricardos hits theaters on December 10th, and then it's going to be on Amazon Prime 11 days later. There's a couple things I want to say. First, great trailer. Number two, I love that this isn't an I Love Lucy movie. This is a span of 2 weeks, I believe, when they're taping an episode of I Love Lucy. And it's really about the relationship between Lucille Ball, not Ricardo, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, husband and wife, also business partners in Desilu Studios. Nicole Kidman has gotten a lot of backlash, a lot of people coming down on her, oh, you shouldn't be Lucy. Judging by that, not only does she look like it, but I know we said this on the radio show this morning that we are only hearing Nicole Kidman. Yes, but if you go back and listen to Lucille Ball interviews from the 40s and 50s, Lucille Ball didn't sound like Lucy Ricardo. Lucille Ball, the human, had a much deeper voice. What did you think?
I think it looks amazing. You know, I mean, I've shared this before about how my mom had her on a flight once. And she said out of every celebrity she ever had on the airlines back in the day, she was not nice.
No, she's mean. She was mean.
Horrible person.
Yeah.
So I love behind the scenes little looks like this.
Well, and I won't belabor this because producer Ted will have litters of kittens in there because I want to keep on time. But I really do hope it shines light on something that I've mentioned on this show many times, and that's the behind the scenes fun fact of every sitcom you currently watch is thanks to Desi Arnaz. Lucy, yes, but Desi created the 3-camera system, the structure, the studio audience, that's all Desi. And I hope they give Mr. Arnaz proper credit in this. We're going to have a lot more to come, some great guests today, so sit back, relax, get some more Senka, and we'll be back after this. A hot dish just getting started. Next, a Minnesotan is taking center stage on the new season of The Bachelorette. Is producer Ted feeling the love? A recap of the uber dramatic season premiere. Then, what's it like hosting a game show from a basement? Meredith Vieira can tell you, and she will when the 25 Words or Less host joins me for a great conversation. And Orange is the New Black, Walking Dead, Supernatural, Mr. Holland's Opus. She has been in basically everything. Well, now Alicia Witt is hitting the road to promote her new album. Yes, she's a fabulous singer too, and she's joining me live. That and more when we come back.
Hi.
I was trying so hard not to slam it back down in your face.
I appreciate that.
Oh my God.
You are stunning.
You know, nobody ever looked better than you and a head of lettuce. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
My name is Rick. I want to tell you about the special tonight. The special comes from Los Angeles, California. Perfectly aged at 32 years. Sweet with a little bit of spice. Now, I want you to enjoy your appetizers tonight, but when you're ready for your main course, come and find me.
As I've said many times, I weep for my straight women friends. 25 men served up for Michelle. Get it? Including Rick, who remained on the platter for most of the night. The new... I just want America to know that I didn't write that was Ted. The new season of The Bachelorette debuted last night. Minnesota's own Michelle Young began her quest to find her forever person, her lobster, so to speak. And already she has to sort through who is there for the right reasons. And that means, once again, it's time for 42% of America loves Ted. Joining us is producer Ted Johnson, live from our control room, or as we call it now, Bachelor Nation headquarters. Good morning, Ted.
Good morning.
Overall, what did we think of Michelle as a whole?
You know, I like Michelle. You know, usually I always start off the season liking the Bachelor or Bachelorette more than the end of the season, because by the end of the season I start thinking they're very annoying with all their decisions. But she got off to a good start. She's very likable. She's from Minnesota. She likes basketball. She's a teacher. I think the teacher aspect is really going to be key here, because it looks like she doesn't put up with baloney.
I was going to say, I know you well enough to know that even though she is from Minnesota, and even though I'm sure some of her relatives are probably watching, you would tell us if she drove you crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, if her voice was annoying, or if she kept the annoying guys around. Look, she kept the guy on the platter around, and once he came out of the table, she seemed to like him a little bit more. That aside,
yeah,
I do like her decisions.
Let's talk about other entrances. What stuck out to you?
Well, so we had a guy who drove up in a school bus, predictable.
Oh, okay.
A couple of firefighters, one guy, you know, coming up on a firefighter thing, ice cream truck. Yeah, I mean, pretty much your standard. There wasn't anything over the top, but they were still relatively over the top.
But there was some drama, so entrances aside, it was the season premiere. It was the Bachelorette. So talk to me about the drama, drama.
So we had, okay, so you know we've got Caitlin and Tayshia, who are the fill-in hosts for this season.
Yeah.
And they did something before the entrances that was a little weird. They broke into people's rooms, and they discovered in one of the guys' rooms that he had notes written out about how to act. Little weird. And so they thought, oh, this is bad. So they told Michelle, here's this guy, and she already likes the guy. Of course she likes the guy. He's got how to behave on The Bachelorette to make it far. Well, her reaction, yeah, is about what you would expect. Take a look.
I don't want you to act. I want you to be yourself, and you have to write notes
And
about
those,
how to be yourself.
Those were not notes written by me. Those were notes written by my friend's wife who watches The Bachelor. And I haven't seen the show as much as more than 2 hours, to be perfectly honest. I wrote notes on the way I came here, just so I can get an idea.
So you wrote them, or your friend's wife wrote them, like you just said?
Certain sections, a couple of them they wrote, and a couple I wrote about it.
I think this is what it is.
When I'm watching the episodes, I write stuff about Michelle. I'm like, oh, Michelle likes this. Michelle's from Minnesota. Michelle was this. There's nothing. My friends gave me summaries of what The Bachelor is, and that's what's written down there. There's nothing disingenuous that I've written.
When watching The Bachelor, it is hard not to notice that these quotes are said at least every season, or every episode for that matter, in honor of the girls that are left to win over Ben Higgins' hearts. Here are a few phrases that have been repeated over the years.
Okay, one, button up one more button, and number two, it puts the lotion on its skin or it gets the hose again.
Yeah, and he's like, someone else's notes. I wrote the notes.
Tripping over your lies.
Wrote the notes together. I've never seen the show. Oh, I write notes during the episodes. Give me a break.
Yeah. One more guy to spotlight, a Gopher fan.
Joe Coleman. He's from Minnesota. And apparently those two had communicated prior, because she's like, I recognize you. Oh yeah, you're the guy that ghosted me. So he had some explaining to do. I think he got himself out of the doghouse a little bit. From the previews, it looks like they could have he could be there for a while. So we'll have to keep an eye on that.
And by the way, let me just acknowledge, nice new shirt and tie combo Ted's sporting today.
Oh, thank you.
You're very nice.
Thank you.
There we go. Producer Ted Johnson, everybody. By the way, Kendall, I got an update from a guy that used to work at Apple. Now, I'll just call him Billy. And Billy said about my iPhone, because it's freaking people out. We're getting a lot of messages. So Billy said the reason your phone suggested it is because it saw you had a call from Q, and then it went to the calendar. iOS does not listen to your calls. He works for Apple. I didn't call Q, though. We were in person. Just saying. Next in the dish, Adele did a taste test for British Vogue, and in it she revealed her favorite meal. And we love her even more for this. Look.
My ideal meal, my death row meal, my last meal would be a McChicken nugget with a Big Mac and then fries. That's my 3-course. I eat at least once a week.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. In the video, she had to eat 10 meals blindfolded, and guess what she was eating? I'm with her. I was in my 20s living in Loring Park in downtown Minneapolis, and I just didn't care. And I didn't care about my weight, I didn't care about anything. And my favorite meal was a supersized fry, That's when they used to have supersized fries. And then a 20 McNugget.
Ooh.
And then I got a Diet Coke just so they wouldn't judge me.
Make sure it's diet.
The little Becky, 20 McNugget, supersized fry, and watching the weight, give me a Diet Coke.
I'll make it 2 Diet Cokes. I have
That's
a friend
right.
in the back.
Because I'm sharing with my friend Sally.
Yeah.
Sally, what kind of sauce do you want? In the video, oh, I already told you that. Teleprompter roll up. Next on the dish, Netflix is about to change the way it reports viewership numbers. Gone are the days where watching 2 minutes of a show will count as a view. Well, that's good. Instead, Netflix will now report total hours viewed within 28 days of release. Netflix had reported that 142 million accounts watched Squid Game for at least 2 minutes. Okay, that's a little cheaterson, but in an earnings report gave more details, saying it's the asterisk, saying that 2/3 of all viewers had finished the series in 23 days. Yeah, Netflix, that's a little, that's a little trickery. That's a little ratings trickery.
Right.
I mean,
wasn't it even shorter than that back in the day? Am I misremembering that it was even a shorter amount of viewing time at one point and then they moved it to 2 minutes?
I don't know.
But either way, I mean, I've watched a show for 2 minutes and then gone, I'll give it like 3 more minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're like, meh.
Well, I mean, all shows try to put on the best light. Like, right. We're number one with adults with gray hair, 60 to 66 years old, who like to bowl and live in a subdivision.
They watch the first 20 minutes, for sure.
You can, what? We do that too. We're number one with people who like the show Dallas, who like pull tabs, chicken wings, vodka soda,
yes,
and Bud Light.
That's the beer for me.
Hashtag, you are my people. Always and forever. Next in the dish, Nick Offerman was on with Colbert last night. He talked about a trip he and his wife, Megan Mullally, Karen and Will and Grace, took during the pandemic. Look at this.
You, during COVID, you went out there, you RV'd it around the United States together. I was so tempted to do that.
Megan is the curator. She's the picker of things, and when it was coming out, when the lockdown first kind of sank in, where it was like, oh, we're going to be stuck here for a long time, she said, what if we get some sort of camper so we can travel to see our families for Thanksgiving?
That's lovely.
And I said, I love you so much. Please let me come in the house tonight and make you one of my special meals. And that didn't happen, but we got an Airstream, and it was incredible. I highly recommend it. It's very romantic.
Chemical toilet?
No, full plug-in to sewer situation toilet at an RV park.
Oh, nice.
You got to ask for full hookups.
Full hookups, okay. Yeah. You guys going to eventually retire out to the slab?
I hope so.
Okay, I think the best point of that whole thing was wives are the pickers. Is that true in your marriage? Not to get all up in your biz.
I think so, but honestly, it's because my husband would be happy just sitting outside every single night with the TV and a Primo. So, of course I'm the picker.
May I ask, is that straight people talk? What's a Primo?
A premium. It's a beer. Grain Belt. Our local Grain Belt. The sign that's by your house.
Yeah. How dare you speak to me like that?
How dare you not know what Grain Belt is?
Oh, the camera was it looked like it was getting ready to hit you. I love that. Right there! Watch out, Kendall! Watch out, the camera's gonna hit you! Nick has a new book out called Where the Deer and the Antelope Play. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back right after this. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Thank you for being here, everybody. Well, our next guest is a comedian, a singer, and a ventriloquist. He surged onto the national scene after he won the 2nd season of NBC's America's Got Talent. Now, he has a show in Vegas. Take a look.
Took my comic books, and now she's gone and thrown them all away. Mama, Sometimes I think I should have left with Dad.
Dougie, that's enough. Dougie, come on. Dougie, I can't believe you're in your 40s and you still live with your mother.
Yeah, well, that's the breaks, ain't it?
I should say not now he has a show in Vegas. He's been there for 11 years. I consider him a Vegas icon now. Please welcome to the show, Terry Fator. Hi, Terry.
Hello.
Terry, it's so funny. When I think of you, I think of my visits to Vegas because when I stay there, your face, as you well know, used to be huge on the Mirage sign. And when I would stay across the street, I would wake up to you quite literally every morning. So
that's awesome. I had Suzanne Summers, when I met her, she told me, she said, I woke up to looking at you from my bathtub every day.
Well, I mean, let me start there. As I said, 11 years. You're now, you've moved over to New York, but 11 years at Mirage. Season 2 of America's Got Talent. I say these numbers. Can you believe it? Can you believe it's been more than a decade?
It's amazing. You know, it's been 14 years since I was on America's Got Talent. And I have to say, I'm the one who won the show. That's right. The turtle is the one who won the show. No doubt about it. Yeah, let's not make any bones about that.
You're right. I'm sorry, Turtle. I'm sorry. I apologize. But it's crazy to think about. So how is the show? Obviously, it's an evolution. How is the show at New York going to be different?
Well, I started in March, and it's different that I'm doing a lot more. I'm really pushing the boundaries of my talent. No, I'm pushing the boundaries of my talent. He just stands there with that stupid look on his face. Right. Okay, well. But, yeah, we're doing a lot of different things. In fact, I'm able to do more duets with different puppets. I'm able to well, you know, I just don't want to give anything away, but I'm going to bringing a lot of that to Welsh, Minnesota on October 29th, and I cannot wait for that.
I was going to say, as I said in the intro, guys, Terry's hitting the road. He's coming to Treasure Island. I'll give info about how to get tickets at the very end. But do you like traveling around the country? I mean, it's great to have the residency, but I'm sure, does it kind of revitalize you and the act hitting the road and going to different parts of the country?
It really does. I love, listen, going in to New York and doing my show and then going home and sleeping in my own bed is an absolute joy. But it's fun to bring the show around the country. And the way I really do that is when I start getting emails and letters from people saying, well, my mom, you know, is unable to travel but really wants to see you. My grandma wants to see you, but she can't make it out to Vegas. I always tell my agent, okay, let's go to that area. So that's really why I travel, is to bring it to fans who can't come to Vegas.
Turtle, do you think the fame, because, you know, you don't have to Wikipedia much to find out that Terry signed one of the biggest deals ever in Vegas history. Turtle, do you think the fame has gone to his head?
Oh, absolutely not, because he knows he's not responsible for any of it.
Well, that's true.
You know, the puppets do all the work. He just stands there.
Yeah, very true. I think you should have been bigger on the billboard, Turtle. I mean, in my personal opinion.
You know, I'm a very humble turtle, so I don't really worry about stuff like that. As long as he gives me lots of turtle food and lets me live in my pond with my family, I'm happy.
That's very nice. It's very nice.
I mean,
he gives me all the money.
I love it. You do, everyone knows you do hundreds of celebrity voices for whatever reason, maybe a connection you have to them, maybe the ease to do it. Who's the most fun for you to do, Terry?
Probably Michael Jackson. Can you do a little Michael Jackson? She's out of my life. She's out of my life. There you go. So see, he can do anyone.
What do you have to do? What's your process? And either Turtle or Terry can answer this. What is your process? I mean, now in the age of YouTube, you can go back and look at footage and stuff. But how long do you spend, Terry, kind of crafting a new voice?
Oh, it can take me sometimes. Sometimes it happens very, very quickly. Like, for example, Etta James. Can you do Etta James? My love is coming on. That was very easy. It took me it took me no time at all. Right, him. And but sometimes it can take weeks, and there have been times when it took years to get a voice down. So it just depends on what the voice is.
Yeah, who had a vocal tick or something that was hard for you to wrap your head around? Does one come to mind?
It's not the vocal tics that are the hard ones. It's the ones who don't have the vocal tics. Like, for example, with Michael Jackson, he's got that vibrato and also he's kind of got that high voice. But with Frank Sinatra, that really has been one of my hardest ones to do.
Really?
Yeah, it's very, very difficult because there's not a lot that I can, find. Like with Elvis, it's like, love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. So that's got kind of a feel to it. But with Frank Sinatra, it's just like, fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars.
I get it.
So you have to really.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's there's nothing there like that like the vibrato and something else. So it's much more difficult for me to try to tap into that tone.
Well, Terry, thank you so much. We can't wait to see you. Terry's going to be, as I said, next Friday at Treasure Island. For ticket information, head to terryfator.com. Thanks, my friend.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Turtle. We're going to take a break. Meredith Vieira and Alicia Witt when we return. Back in a moment. Welcome back. Well, she's really, truly one of my favorites. She really is. People always go, you only have favorites on your show. Yeah. She's known for her long career in journalism as co-host of The View and The Today Show. Now, Meredith Vieira is back for season 3 of the game show, 25 Words or Less. I got a chance to chat with Meredith about the show and a lot more. Take a look. So, Meredith, I'm sure this sounds like a silly question because of your years as a journalist, but have you ever traveled to Minneapolis? Have you ever been here?
I've been there many times. I love it. I think it's just fantastic, including one of the conventions.
Oh, yeah. And it's also the home to 25 Words or Less, what would we call her, icon, Melissa Peterman.
Yes, she's been with us since season 1, and she is great, and she's so proud of her roots. And when she puts in the Minnesotan accent, I feel like, oh, I'm really there. But to me, it's the home of Charlie Dunning, because Charlie is my daughter Lily's fiance, and they're getting married.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, and he's one of the sweetest, most lovely people, including his family. So you're doing something right in Minneapolis.
We try, and you are too. Third season, Meredith, you've done so many projects and been involved in so many different types of television. What was it about this pitch? I was wondering this. What was it about the pitch for this? I mean, because you did Millionaire, that made you go, you know what, this could work. What was it?
Well, first they showed me the game, and I thought the game was really cool, and I did not know the history of it, that it had been a board game many, many years ago, developed by the same person who did Taboo. And then I was brought out from New York to LA to do the test shows, with the agreement that I could say no, and they might say no if they didn't do well. And I just fell in love with it. I like game anyway, but also I went to LA, and I'm on the lot where Lucille Ball was filmed, and it's just an iconic place. I went, oh my God. Who wouldn't want to do this? This is so cool. And so you spend 6 to 8 weeks. We shoot all of our shows within 6 weeks, 175. And I just had a blast doing it. And then COVID hit us, obviously, last year. And they really scrambled, Fox, and built this studio in my basement. That's where I'm standing right now. Short commute to work every day.
I was going to say, you went from the studios for Lucy. You're now in the Meredith Vieira studios downstairs.
Exactly. I'm down in the basement, but hey, it works. It's worked out well, and I give Fox a lot of credit. And they created a version of the show that doesn't look like it's a COVID version. And we've been discovered. I think this happened with a lot of shows last year. People were home, and they didn't know what to watch in there, so they're looking through TV shows and. Many people came upon us and then just fell in love with the game.
I love it. You know this, from time on Millionaire and just being a fan of the genre, every game kind of has you should probably be good at X, Y, or Z before you become a contestant. Or what for your game, what do you think the trick is? What do you think the hook is for people to be really good at to be a good contestant?
You need to be able to come up with clues. And that's not always so easy because we're cutting down the number of clues you're allowed to give. You're betting against the other person. And so you'll say, I can do it in 24 words. And then the next person on the other team might say, well, I can do it in 20. So you've got to keep going down and down until one team says, okay, you can have it. So you have to be able to come up with clues quickly, remember them, and know that you're also competing against a clock. So it's really being a fast thinker and good on your feet and being able to anticipate somewhat the way your team is going to think. I like being a host. There's no way I would play the game.
No.
I'd be a disaster.
Well, I so appreciate the time. As I'm sure you hear 1,000 times a day, probably 2,000. I'm a giant fan from every area that you've ever done. I think you're one of the best live television folks to ever do it. And that's not easy. The good ones make it look easy, and you're one of the great ones. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So will you get me out of my basement?
I will. I mean, tell Stephen Brown to get you out of the basement, for heaven's sake.
He's the one who locks the door every day.
Seriously. But Meredith, can I tell you, you have kick lighting. You have really good lighting for the basement.
We do. We have very good lighting.
We have leftover lights from Divorce Court. That's what Stephen gave us.
Well, I guess I just made the cut.
Exactly. Bye, Meredith. Thank you.
Bye, thank you so much, guys. Sweetheart. Take care.
You too. The great Meredith Vieira. Stephen Brown, by the way, is a bigwig at our network. He controls original programming. Love you, Stephen. And just a note, this proves I have no vanity. Could my head look any bigger? My goodness. It was like this big. Hi, Meredith. 25 words or less airs weekdays at 4 and 4:30 on Fox 9 Plus. Or if you're watching from other parts of the country, check your local listings. The great Alicia Witt when we return. Back in a moment, my friends. Big-headed monster. Welcome back, everybody. Well, our next guest is most well known as an actress with acting credits that include, and I could literally spend the whole segment just going through her credits: Orange is the New Black, The Walking Dead, Supernatural, Mr. Holland's Opus, Andy Griffith. I mean, she's been on everything, but she's also a fantastic singer and on tour promoting her new album. Here's a clip from Alicia Witt's single, Chasing Shadows. Look at this. Welcome to the show, Alicia Witt. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
5th album.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Like, I love you from all of your acting creds, but I mean, you were described as a singing prodigy. That's a big title, Alicia Witt. That's a big descriptor.
Well, I was a child at the time, to be fair.
But still, none of us here in the studio are prodigies of anything. No offense to my lovely crew, but yeah. But I mean, what's that? I mean, that's pretty big.
Well, I feel like making music and acting have both been things that felt like home to me from the time I started, which was 7 for both. And I just knew that these were things I wanted to spend the rest of my life doing.
Was there ever a point where, because music is probably so personal to you, where the road of your career was going more toward acting and you're like, oh, no, I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose singing. Was there ever a push and pull moment for you?
There were a few of those when I was starting out. Like as a teenager, I was being encouraged to pursue music a little bit more at that time. And I really wanted to make my mark as an actor. So I focused on that, but I played piano at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in LA.
The Reach Bev Will from Pretty Woman.
The Reach Bev Will.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That was my day job. So I was doing that for a living. Yeah.
Oh, my
While I was
goodness.
trying, auditioning 3 times a day for whatever I could try to make my mark in.
What was your first big role? Was it Opus? Was it Mr. Holland's Opus? Like your big standout role?
It was an independent film called Fun that is not the most well-known thing I've done, but I ended up winning an award at Sundance. And I was 18. It was my first lead in anything. And that is what laid the pathway. Then I got Mr. Holland's Opus, then I got 4 Rooms, then I ended up on the series Sybil, and it was all trickling down from that Sundance appearance. So Sybil was the first thing where I was on TV screens,
every
for
week on
years.
CB. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please tell me that Christine Baranski is as lovely as I personally want her to be.
She is, and I would call her one of my biggest influences in terms of setting the bar for how to behave on a set and how
Fascinating.
to, and just, she was the consummate professional, obviously, but it was her conduct and the way she always made people feel good, no matter what was going on. And the way that she loved her life in Connecticut and her family above all else. It was such an exciting time for her.
Yeah, and Youngins, she was on Sybil with Sybil Shepherd. That's why we're talking about Christine Baranski. Y'all know her from The Good Wife and The Good Fight, which I love her too. So,
yes.
Do you love Mr. Holland's Opus as much as, okay, thank you.
Yes.
You've answered 2 of the questions that I was like, oh, please say yes to both. Yeah.
My dad was a teacher for 35 years.
Seriously?
So not a music teacher,
Yeah.
but he had just retired at the time that I filmed Mr. Holland's Opus. So it was extra close to my heart because I knew firsthand what sacrifices a teacher makes.
And the impact.
And the impact.
I mean, I think everyone we talk about, I have a 3rd grade teacher who quite literally changed the trajectory of my life, so that resonated with me. Let's go back to your singing career. How would you describe, for people that know you from acting but don't know you from music, how would you describe your style? Obviously, we just heard it, but how would you describe yourself?
I think the best way to describe it is that it's piano pop. So if you like Sarah Bareilles, perhaps you would like what I'm making. And also there's a lot of throwback to the 70s singers, songwriters, especially in this album, which is the first album that I have produced alongside 2
Did you like
other.
that? Did you like the
Loved
producing?
it.
Yeah.
Yes. Because with these tracks, I felt like I knew exactly what I wanted to say and how I wanted it to feel. So the whole thing definitely has that Carole King, Billy Joel, Elton John kind of vibe about it.
Oh, I'm so excited. Will you please, anytime you come through will you please come back?
Yes.
Okay.
I promise I will come back. This has been wonderful.
Oh, thank you so much. Go see Alicia. Catch her tonight at one of the best clubs in the area, the Turf Club. For tickets, go to first-avenue.com. And for more of Alicia's music, go to aliciawittmusic.com if you're watching us from other areas of the country. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. I so appreciate it. Do you mind if we get a quick picture? Such great guests today. Meredith, Terry, and how much are we loving? She's a new fave, Kendall, don't you think?
I think
Alicia Witt.
I watch every Hallmark movie Alicia Witt's in because she's always so joyful and like fun, and she's like that in real life.
Well, we were laughing in that commercial break. I was getting text messages from different people loving a different corner of Alicia's talent. My mother wrote, "OMG, I love Alicia from Hallmark," and our boss, Marion Mim Davy Kessler Carrington Colby, loves her from Law and Order. So that's what I mean. She's been in everything. An audience, you know, I'll tell you if stars are just idiots. She was delightful. New fave up there with Paige Davis and Arsenio Hall. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this with a surprise goodbye. Great. Welcome back, everybody. What is the surprise ending today, Kendall? We are about to find out. Roll it, Leo. So as you know, Kendall and I are in the dark about what the producers have put in the segment each and every day. So here we go. Today, it's a viewer comment from Kim. Just finished watching the new James Bond movie. The lady in that show looks exactly like Kendall. It was like watching you all over again. Now, she's referring to actress Léa Seydoux, who stars in No Time to Die with Daniel Craig. So we did a side-by-side. Oh, my goodness. And you pull Kendall's posing. You know how I love when you pose on Instagram. Look at that. Hey, girl. Where's the Chardonnay? That's my
Yay.
Chardonnay pose. Tomorrow, From Late Night with David Letterman and Matt in the Kitchen, our favorite Madeline Smithberg returns. That's going to be good. But right now, if you're watching and you're a kid that's being bullied, go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Goodbye, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Washington. See you tomorrow.